Hey, what's up you guys? I'm Caitlin from Leave Me Alone Plants and welcome back. It's getting to be that time of year, as you know.
Winter is coming.
As somebody who lived in Buffalo, New York, where it's below freezing like 9 months out of the year for almost my entire life, I know that when winter comes, it kind of feels like the whole process of buying plants online basically comes to a screaming halt. And a big reason for that is so many people are concerned that their plants will not survive in the mail when it is that cold. Now, as a buyer, that completely makes sense, but as a small plant seller, I can also reassure you that there are things that we can do as sellers to make sure that your plants still arrive to you safely when the wintertime hits. That's why today I wanted to do a fun little experiment and see how these 72-hour heat packs for plants actually hold up and if they keep your plants safe when it's super cold out. Now, unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess you could say, I live here in Arizona. Even though it is almost October, it still has not dropped below 100 degrees every day, so I will not have the opportunity to test these plants outdoors in the actual elements, so I decided that we would do the next best thing, and I will be putting this box exactly how I would normally pack it right inside my freezer, which of course is as cold as it gets in many places in the United States. So hopefully with that, with the heat pack inside, we can test after 72 hours how these plants held up and if it did save them in the process of being shipped. Now, the heat packs that I use in my shop are these UniHeat packs. They are 72-hour heat packs, and they're used from all types of things, for shipping plants to shipping reptiles. I believe they do those as well, fish, all kinds of stuff. So a lot of uses for these, but today we are specifically going to be testing them for plants. Now, basically how these work is you are going to want to put this inside the box, not directly on top of the plant. You're going to want to create a little bit of a barrier in between the plant or whatever else you're shipping and this heat pack, and then just make sure, you'll see when we open this in a second, there's going to be a red line on there. If you're taping it to the top of the box, which is what I like to do, you are not going to want to put anything or tape over that red line. That's my understanding is where the heat comes out of, so be sure to be careful about that. Additionally, these heaters are rated to work up to freezing temperatures. However, if you're shipping and those temperatures are far below freezing, these heat packs are kind of iffy if they will work. They say that they do not. As somebody who used to use heat packs outside, I used to work at a car wash in the winter outside of Buffalo, and we would use the hand warmers. In my experience, they do still work even below freezing temperatures, but that is just a disclaimer that they put on these. Additionally, if they get wet, they will stop working as well, so be sure if you are, for some reason, have like soaking wet plants in your box to make sure that it does not get these heat packs wet. Additionally, if you are concerned that maybe being out in the elements, I know, sometimes things happen when we're shipping our packages and they get a little wet, they get a little soggy, they get a little crunched up. So if you are worried about that, then potentially doing something to make sure that this pack does not get wet inside might be a good idea. Now, I wanted to make this box as similar to the way that I would normally pack a plant as possible. So as you can see, we have our tissue paper, our plant wrapped up in here. I personally like to use polyfill to keep the plants insulated and safe inside the box. However, if I have something that is a recycled material, I always keep those and I will use those as well. In this example, of course, we will just be using the polyfill, so I'm just going to cover up the top of that. And listen, we took all the stops. I even have one of my little mailers in here and some stickers as well, so we could replicate the environment in this box as closely to what I would normally ship as humanly possible. So now let's get this little guy out of here. As you will be able to see, let me bring it a little closer, there is this red line that goes across the heat pack. That is what I was talking about. You'll notice little perforated holes on there, and you'll want to be sure not to tape over or cover this red line with any sort of plastic or anything that is going to keep that heat inside of the pack. Now, unlike, if you're familiar with the hot hand warmers, you don't need to like shake this or agitate it to activate it. It is going to do that all on itself. So I am just going to tape this into the top of the box. I like to do this just so that it stays in place and I know that it's not doing anything wonky or banging around. I think I forgot to mention it in the beginning of this video, but the plant that we are using for this experiment is actually the golden pothos that we had used in the plants with no light for 30 days experiment. And if you watch that video, then you will know that that plant did exceptionally well. It has been sitting out getting a ton of light recently, so we are repurposing him for this experiment. As you know, a golden pothos is pretty hardy and it's kind of a normal plant, so I thought it would be a good one to run this experiment with. Alright, so as you can see, we have our heat pack taped onto that box. We are just going to close things up, tape up the outside. Okay, so we're good to go. We got our live plant sticker on there in case somebody in the freezer is trying to manhandle this box. And again, we want to make this as authentic as possible, so I'm just going to tape up the edges as I normally would on a box. Alright, so our box is good to go. We are gonna go on over to my freezer. I'm going to have to clear out a space for this. This is the smallest box that I could find at the moment. So hopefully it fits inside of there. And then we are gonna let this guy sit in there for exactly 72 hours. And at the end of the 72 hours, I will film the next part of this. We'll pull it out and we'll see how the plant fared and if it survived in the sub-zero temperatures of my freezer. So with that said, I'll see you guys in 3 days.
3 days later.
Okay guys, so the time has come. It is literally 3 days to the minute that we have put this box in our freezer. Now in terms of how this box feels, it is icy cold. It is literally exactly how my boxes used to feel when I lived in New York. It would be at work all day, it would come home in the winter and take them off my patio. So far I would say that our experimental design was pretty good and that this is pretty accurate. So I guess with no further ado, let's get unboxing. One time I made a video at work and my coworkers all complained about my knife skills. They thought they were dangerous, so hopefully none of them are watching this video because, as you can see, old habits die hard. So I literally can't even get this box open. It is not taped shut. It is like condensated and frozen in place. We have our little mailer here. Actually, I just ran out of these the other day, so I should have actually pulled it out of this box, but there it is. What the hell? I cannot get this box open or the life. Oh, guys, I'm so dumb. I literally have tape across the top of this.
I'm not a smart man.
Stand by. Okay, heat pack is literally solid frozen cold, so not a great sign right off the bat. And likewise, our golden pothos feels quite frigid in here, so I'm a little nervous to see what happened here. I'm hoping that perhaps the packing could have kept this cool on its own. Guys, I'm literally sweating bullets right now. I am nervous. Uh-oh, you guys, this is not good. The root ball is literally frozen solid. Okay. Well, this was literally an epic fail. Guys, I am literally shocked right now. This plant is completely frozen solid right now. Like, hold on, let me bring this closer. Like, if you guys, you can't really see it, this poor little plant, it's literally a little plant popsicle right now. Oh my god. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what went wrong. Yeah, this plant definitely 100% is not going to be alive when it defrosts. Hold on, I need a moment. Okay, so it's 72 hours. It's a 72-hour heat pack. It's completely frozen. They don't work below freezing. Is it below freezing in my freezer?
Welcome back, Captain Obvious.
Okay, guys. Well, this threw me for a bit of a loop. So I guess we will reconvene in a couple days and test this experiment again.
Thousands of tears later.
You guys, I was literally in such a state of shock over what happened.
Well, I was in such a state of shock. I completely blacked out. I can't remember a thing.
I didn't even turn off the recording of my camera. This bitch has been running for like an hour now. Okay, so I have no idea what happened, but we're gonna figure this out. This video literally just turned into a full-on investigation of UniHeat. So off the top of my head, I have a couple speculations of what I think could be happening. Now, my first thought was maybe these heat packs were expired, but I looked and the expiration date isn't until Best by July 26th, 2022. So we are well within the expiration date of these. So they should not be expired. I took this new one out of the pack and I was curious if this whole idea of these heat packs was just maybe perhaps a fraud and they don't work at all. Now it's getting hot, so clearly to some degree these do work. So what we are going to do is I'm going to take this and we are going to put this in the box for the next 72 hours, and I will do periodic checks to see if this thing maintains warmth or hotness or whatever we want to call it for the next 72 hours. That will be kind of, I guess, our jumping off point, and then we will go from there to see the best method of getting this done. Now, some speculations of what I think could have happened here. Potentially, maybe my freezer is below the point of freezing. So I'm going to take one of my humidity and thermometer meters and stick it in there and see what that temperature does get down to. I know that I have dials on there, so if it is too cold, we will, I guess, crank it up in the name of science. I guess if all my food defrosts, then we will cross that bridge when we get there, but we have to figure out what's going on. Now, additionally, I'm wondering if it's possible that this heat pack not had a chance to activate before it froze in the first place. You know, I guess in theory, if I were to box up plants, I wouldn't instantly just have them sitting out in the freezing cold for, 72 hours the second that I activated the heat pack. So perhaps it just freezed on impact as soon as I put it in the freezer without ever having a chance to hit its max temperature. That is possibility number 2. So once we determine that this does stay warm for 72 hours, then we will make sure to keep this box out of the freezer for long enough first before putting it in there to let it warm up. And additionally, I thought maybe I was being unfair because in all honesty, the boxes aren't necessarily sitting outside the entire time. They are sitting inside, like a UPS truck or a FedEx truck. So in theory, it would be a little warmer in addition to having all the other boxes surrounding them being isolated. But to be fair, it does say that it is a 72-hour heat pack. It provides warm surface temperatures up to 100 degrees and that it is made for shipping and that it should be guaranteed up to 32 degrees Fahrenheit. I wish I could tell you what that is in Celsius, but I'm American and unfortunately we are not very good at converting to different systems. So
you're dumb.
I guess I will put a conversion here. Just like reading over this again and again, there's nothing I can figure out of what could have went wrong here. This video is probably getting a little jumbled. I'm just truly perplexed at this point. So stay tuned. We will let this guy ride out for the next 72 hours and hopefully he stays hot and we will have more answers for you shortly.
Early the next morning.
Okay, it is the next morning. I just want to give you guys a little bit of an update. This thing is still warm, so it seems like we are in business. Now, I can feel that it is clumping together a little bit. Not sure if that's normal, but we're gonna roll with it.
Later, in the void.
Okay, it is officially 72 hours. And let's see. It's still warm. Like not super warm, like just kind of warm, like slightly above body temperature, but it's still warm. So, moral of the story, the fact that this thing was either expired or did not get warm at all definitely was not the problem, so we will investigate further from here.
Many unbearable hours later.
Okay guys, we picked up Golden Pothos number 2. Look at how beautiful this plant is. Hopefully it does not die. We're gonna wrap this guy up and get our experiment on the way.
One eternity later.
Okay guys, welcome back. If it looks like I am sweating profusely, you would literally be correct. Let me give you the scoop of what's going on here. It has been almost 72 hours and it is time for us to unbox this second round of our experiment. Now, why has it been almost 72 hours? Well, I am leaving to go out of town in literally 20 minutes. So there is no time but the present to unbox this so that we can get the accurate results. It's probably been in my refrigerator for like 68 hours now. So I think that will be hopefully good enough for us to get conclusive results. Fingers crossed that it is not frozen this time, because I literally am not mentally prepared to go through this again. Also, that golden pothos inside was like one sexy pothos and I really want to keep it. So literally fingers crossed. But here's the other little snafu that we encountered when I went to go set up my camera today. Okay, backstory. I have been into photography for probably like almost 10 years now. I obviously, being into photography, constantly have SD cards, constantly deal with cameras. I have never had this happen in my entire life, but you guys, look at what has happened. You may not be able to see it. Look at what has happened to this SD card. Oh my god, I'm literally choking. This SD card that all the footage for the rest of this video is on. You might not be able to see it, but it is literally split in half. I picked it up and guys, I'm floored. I don't know what happened. It is literally cracked in half. So I most certainly am not putting this inside my camera. I have no idea if I'm gonna be able to get the footage for the rest of this video off of it. So I guess pray for me. Okay, but now that we've got all of that out of the way, and since we are in a bit of a time crunch, we are just gonna go right in and we are going to crank this guy open and hopefully we have some results. Guys, I am literally so nervous. Okay, so before we get into what happened, I feel like I need to back up a little bit. This video is turning into a mess. Oh my god. So, of course, as you saw last time, we had the issue with the plant completely froze. Something had to go wrong here. We looked at the expiration date, knew that that was not the problem. We did the test where we took it out of the package, made sure it got hot, stayed hot for 72 hours. Wasn't the problem there with it getting hot. The other thing that I theorized could have happened last time is that it didn't have time to warm up before putting it into the freezer, so it froze right on the spot as soon as we put it in there and never had a chance to get warm. This time, let the box sit out for 2 hours before putting it into my freezer to make sure that this pack had time to heat up. And finally, instead of going for my freezer, which when we tested the temperature, I happened to notice was far below freezing. It was literally couldn't even read, but the lowest temperature rating I believe we got was -7 degrees. So definitely way too cold in there for the rating of these heat packs. So instead, we opted to put it in my refrigerator. Now at first the refrigerator was too warm, which sounds weird. So I bumped down the temperature in my refrigerator to get it just above freezing point. So about 34, 35 degrees is where it was sitting at. Now with that said, I do think it got a little colder in there because some of my food started freezing throughout the week, but again, all in the name of science for you guys so we can know that these heat packs work. So I think that it was in a really realistic temperature of what we would actually see in the outdoors, just emulated inside my fridge. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, let's get into it. So cranked open this box. Really good sign right off the bat. Last time when I opened this box up, the heat pack was completely frozen. Now it is not warm at this point, but it also isn't really like cold. So it very well may have just recently died out of power. So I think that we are thus far in a good place. Now feeling this package, it does feel a little cool to the touch, so I am a little bit concerned, but I guess there is no time like the present, so let's see what the condition of this gorgeous golden pothos is. Pray for me, guys. Pray for me. This is like Christmas morning, only instead of excitement, I just have like pure terror right now. Okay, you guys, I think that we have a success here. So, as you may be able to see on this plant, there is a little bit of damage from these leaves being wrapped a little tightly. Now, I will be completely upfront with you. I really wrapped these up in a rush. However, with that said, this plant is still 100% intact. It is 100% alive, not frozen, not too cold. So I think that this is a really good sign, you guys. I just want to take it out and take a quick little look at how the roots are. And yeah, you guys, this paper towel that they're wrapped in literally isn't even cold at all. It's literally just room temperature. So this is really good. Oh my god, I was so nervous about this plant. Yeah, I'm literally making a huge mess here. My boyfriend literally just left and was like, whatever you do, don't make a mess. But as you may be able to see, the roots look very healthy still, very intact, and everything seems to be a-okay. I will pot up this plant right now, right before we go, so that I can give you guys an update when I get back of how this plant pulled through, and that will be our final update on our video. I think I will close it out then, just so that that portion of the video can be a little less frazzled, and hopefully anything that I need to explain away that I missed right now because I am literally like out of breath, hopefully I can do it then. So I will see you guys in the next part of that video.
One pathetic sob story later.
Oh, hi, how are ya? Welcome back. So I apologize in advance for looking a little homely. I have just got back from a 6-hour journey in the car, so wanted to finish out this video super fast, seeing as this has been coming up on about a month-long process now. So it is time for this video to be over so that we can move on and make some new videos. With that said, in the haste of me unexpectedly leaving to go out of town last minute, you probably can notice that I was a bit, we'll call it frantic in the last video. In my frantic stupor, I made a rookie mistake and
I will pot up this plant right now, right before we go.
well, I forgot to pot up this pothos before I left. So unfortunately, the pothos that we did test with is looking a little worse for the wear. I guess we could do an additional video on will your plants survive for a week completely bare root with no water or nutrients? The answer to that one is no, they will not. Just kidding, you guys. This plant is, despite looking in very rough shape, this plant is, I do believe, still viable, still alive. I will likely just cut all this growth off the top, and I know that sounds a little strange looking at this right now because it looks quite sad, but based on how the stems feel, I do believe that this plant can be revived. However, upon me leaving for this trip, this plant was very much so alive, I won't necessarily say in perfect condition, but it definitely did survive. So really to wrap this video out super fast, conclusively, I would say that these heat packs do work for keeping these plants safe in cold conditions. Of course, from the beginning of this video that we witnessed, if your conditions are far below freezing like they were inside my freezer, then the heat pack probably is not going to save your plants. However, if you have conditions that fall somewhere between the range of, 50 to 32-ish degrees Fahrenheit, then chances are you will be in really good shape if you get one of these heat packs. Seeing as this was such quality content, I feel impelled to say that this video was not sponsored by UniHeat. However, UniHeat, I do love your heat packs, so if you would like to sponsor a video, please reach out. But with that said, I would 100% recommend their products. I do think that they're well made, I think they're quality, and I think that they are great for the purpose of shipping live plants. Or other live things, whatever your flavor is. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a like because believe me, your girl went through it on this one. And if you had questions or comments that I did not answer, did not address, flaws that you saw in the design of this very scientific experiment, then please drop them in the comments down below. I would love to hear your opinions, your discussions, and just tips for on how you ship your packages. Finally, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We are getting super close to 1,000 subscribers, and when we hit 1,000 subscribers, I will be doing a plant giveaway on this channel, so you will want to stick around for that one. Unless this is in the future and I have 1 million subscribers, in which case I probably will be doing other plant giveaways, so stay tuned for those too. Thank you guys so much for watching, so much for making it through this long-ass video, and I hope to see you in the next one.